going on, everybody? SideFriend Chronicles in the building. First and foremost, we want to say shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. Whatever city you're from, we appreciate you coming through. The true listeners are gonna love this podcast.
They're gonna stick around.
They're gonna stick around today. Foot cam or not, we're not doing foot cam today. So if you came for the foot cam, well then, we got plenty of them on the channel. Yeah. But today we're coming with the fire topics and everything. Hey man, we're here to pod. We're here for nothing else other than the pod. So, for all the people that really rock with us and appreciate all the talking points and everything. Hey man, what's going on? But I do want to say that me and Estela made the decision that y'all need to get on that Patreon, man. That Patreon is about to be real active with the foot cam. So make sure you all, start looking into that. Just type in SideFriend Chronicles if you want to, really, really check out the foot cam, because that's where we're going to start moving the foot cam episodes. And not to mention, man, we do got the memberships and everything for the foot cam as well. So, don't sleep on that. But before we really truly get into the pod, a word from
sponsor.
I muted myself. A word from the sponsor.
If you are looking for unique and eye-catching foot jewelry, you'll fall in love with Yoga Bling Boutique. Our unique line of toe rings and anklets are gorgeous conversation pieces that make heads turn. Visit yogablingboutique.com for exotic toe rings, anklets, and socks that caress your lovely feet like a glove. We are on Facebook as Yoga Bling Boutique FB. Also look for us on Instagram as Yoga Bling Boutique. Your feet deserve jewelry from Yoga Bling Boutique. For more information, go to yogablingboutique.com.
Shout out to Yoga Bling Boutique as usual. And if you are a potential sponsor of the pod, holler at us in the DMs. So what's going on with you tonight, Miss EstelaTheBella?
First of all, I want to say thank you to J-Win for the heels. I appreciate them, and I will wear them, just not tonight. I don't know if you guys understand the cost of upkeeps and pedicures, and it's fucking expensive, and I've been doing it every 2 weeks this entire year. I've never ever kept my feet up like that in my life. And people have offered to pay. I've had a couple of them paid for, but outside of that shit has been coming out of my pocket, and that's it's too much. It's a lot of money. So I chose not to show them tonight. And if you're just here to look at my toes and jerk off or whatever you do with that camera, I apologize. There's plenty of foot cam episodes you can go refer back to get your rocks off.
There sure is. We're on episode 66 now.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there's a
lot. Remember we're in May right now. So next month we're going to be celebrating a year of the podcast.
Year of the podcast. I know.
Isn't that crazy?
How exciting.
And I'm talking about
something special for that.
Consistency though.
Every week.
We only did not pod 1 week since we started the podcast. And
New Year's.
We made up for missing that episode actually, because we did the special Christmas episode, which was an hour episode. So really we didn't miss a beat as far as putting the content out there, but that was the only week we didn't pod. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. And in fact, we added more. We started doing 2 episodes a week this year per popular demand. And yeah. So those of you who are here because you like to join in the conversation, listen to the conversation, have an opinion about it, and enjoy the two of us as we are, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Those of
y'all
you
are
who
the real MVPs. Y'all are the real MVPs.
Lo siento. You know what I
So
mean?
man, let's get into it today.
They
So we don't
win.
got the little special overlays on
Yeah,
the screen today, but we do got some hot topics to go
we
over. And
do.
Stella, she did some polls on Instagram, and it
I
seems like she
did.
got some decent interaction. So you want to talk
I
about the
did.
polls?
I got some decent interaction. Jay Win, if you want to preview, you can DM me on Instagram and I'll show you because you got them for me. Okay, guys. So I saw something that kind of intrigued me earlier today. It was a meme that talked about if social media and Instagram was only available, or you could only access either, whatever platform it is you use during business hours, like how would you like that? And I thought that that was an interesting thing. And I had two thoughts about it because a huge part of me that knows how addicting social media is, for a lot of us, and spend a lot of time on social media. I think that it would be a good thing to limit access to it. But with that same thing, like, people don't like being controlled, right? Like, if I
Right.
couldn't access it, like, that would probably make me like pissed off, right? But also, is that like because I'm addicted to it, or because it's a slippery slope? And usually when corporations or the powers that be implement something, it's always with good intentions, but kind of always gets out of control. And this is something that can be seen across many different like avenues, right, in the world. But I also thought about it as like, if it did shut down at 6 p.m., that would mean you could only access it during business hours, which you're
Right.
actually supposed to be working and doing all that shit. So you would have less time really to connect. And
You know what's crazy is I'm thinking about it right now, and I think that content creators would probably get more done. People like us
for
would truly
sure,
benefit from that
for
because
sure.
a lot of times the content consumers, they get distracted from being addicted to looking at the phone. So imagine if you couldn't do it past a certain time,
How
the
productive
things that
you'd
you'll
be.
get done past
Yeah.
6. And so that might be one of the reasons alone why they wouldn't do that. And of course, they get all of the ad revenue throughout 24 hours of the day. So
Mhm.
imagine if it went out at 6 o'clock, how much money around the
They
clock the
would
social
lose.
medias would be losing out on. So I figure if they were able to find a way to be able to have that stream of income still, during off business hours, they would probably do something like that. It would truly be great for the world. And I think that it would be beneficial just to the human to humans in general, so that we're not just sitting there staring at the phone all day and night and what have you. Man, just the thought of that alone makes me feel like it gives me like some kind of comfort, and it almost makes me realize the kind of anxiety that some people might even get. Like, people were tripping out during quarantine having to stay inside the house, so imagine if they didn't have that outlet no more, how
Right.
crazy the world might go. That's where we are today, and
Yep.
where everybody is mentally. Like, just the thought of that alone, just I could see chaos happening.
For sure. But I mean, so we've gotten used to, like, okay, I am old enough to remember when I would go to anywhere, right? You don't have
Yeah.
a cell phone. You're not talking, you don't constantly have access to people, and I think that that's what it is that would fucking trip people out. Like, it would kind of scare me too, because like we've become so used to like having the ability to connect with people.
Right.
We've become addicted to showing people our fucking meals, what we're doing all day every day.
Hmm.
We're so addicted to, if some shit goes down, we gotta like post it, like world star, like everybody needs to hear this and know this, and having that information at hand, like right there, the most up-to-date information. And so like when we wake up every morning, like the first thing we do for the most part, I think everybody checks their phone, right? What did I miss? What's happening? Like, what are people doing? What are people saying? What's the news? Like all those things. And I think where I was going with this is like, we all remember, like we had this an episode here where we talked the social dilemma, right?
Yeah.
And how like everybody who works in social media and on these platforms, like their job is literally to find ways to keep you engaged. That's what these algorithms do. And what that has done, that on top of what happens to your brain when you stop reading actual books, when you stop just like being present and shit, like what you don't use, you literally lose. Like your brain trims off like these neurons and shit that you're not using anymore. So I don't know if you notice this in yourself, and I know a lot of people know this, or maybe notice or don't notice this, but it makes it hard for you to actually read a book. Without constantly like losing your train of thought. You're getting distracted by your own, like you can't focus. You have to reread it multiple times before you start actually focusing. And like these are all, casualties, like, this is collateral damage. Like this is what has happened to us. So from that perspective, like I think limiting social media is a great idea, but also from just knowing the way of the world and the way that like corporate greed works and all this shit and control and governments and all that, like it could be a slippery slope as well. Like it would really cut off our access, which could hurt us in the sense that like we wouldn't be aware of some of the shit that happens until it's too late. You know what I mean? We wouldn't be able to like gather and rally the troops and shit. Definitely.
Like that rocket that was supposed to just land somewhere, like nobody would have known about that rocket. Like had that rocket from China, what have you, like ended up landing in the actual city or something and not in the ocean. Like we kind of need social media for things like that right there. Like don't shut down all of the media and everything for us to find things like that out. Like, well, I'm sure like if it came to like emergencies and everything, they'll probably give you like some kind of alert, right? Some kind of like instant alert to your phone, kind of like that one time when Trump sent out alerts to everybody's phone and it was telling everybody this is like some kind of national emergency, but this is a test or whatever. Remember that?
I don't think I got that phone.
You didn't get that text? Or it wasn't even a text. It was like an alert, like an actual iPhone alert.
I think it was an alert. Oh, remember there was that one that was like from Hawaii or some shit? Like you remember that one. Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. I feel a few ways about it. I think that ultimately what just needs to happen is people need to learn to have some self-control and some discipline, and that's just not easy for people. Like not most people don't have the will to do that like on their own. And they need somebody to tell them that they can't do it, but they don't like when somebody tells them they can't do it. So where's the middle ground? Like how do we fix this? You
want to know what my new discovery is?
What?
I know why people are so addicted to TikTok and Reels on Instagram. I figured it out now that I'm using it, and now that I'm putting our clips on TikTok and Reels, I'm starting to figure out why people love it so much. Because Instagram, they made it so that their algorithm with the usual way of posting is trash now, right? So when you post a picture, it doesn't show to everybody in your friends group no more. The algorithm is just absolute trash, right?
I don't see a lot of people's shit, and then like I'll be scrolling the timeline, and then it'll just cut me off and be like, people you might like to follow, rather than the people I actually fucking follow.
It doesn't show you, so the algorithm is super super jacked up on that, right? But if you go to Reels, the algorithm is freaking amazing. So they're gearing people more towards the Reels because they want to get people off TikTok, right? But so what my discovery is, I found out why people are so addicted to those new platforms, and it's because the algorithm is freaking fire. Like I've been posting stuff on there for our SideFriend Chronicles TikTok and my own personal TikTok, and then another TikTok account that I have. Yeah, I know I got a lot of different accounts, but what I'm noticing is that the algorithm is freaking fire. And I'm like, this is why people love it. They're making it easy to go viral on these platforms. And see, I wasn't using none of those platforms before because I'm just so into what we got going on YouTube and with the podcast that I was just, tunnel vision on that. But now that I'm exploring on the different platforms, I'm like, oh, I see why people are so addicted to it. Like, all I want to do is make a new video now because I see what kind of interaction they're getting, even on an account that has no followers. Our TikTok has 10 followers right now. And
mine
by the way,
has
go follow that. But our TikTok
had one, and I posted one TikTok video, and within a day or two, it had like 600 and something views, and I had like 7 followers. I was like, what the fuck?
That's because the algorithm actually is fire.
I had no followers. No followers before that. It was weird.
And so that's why people are so addicted to those platforms, because they can actually go viral, and they've realized that the hunger to go viral, if they can make more people go viral, the more people are going to use those platforms, because it gives them that attention, that the dopamine that you're getting from the social platforms, and they've heightened it. It's like the new drug, right? It's like when people were doing, let's say Coke or whatever, and then they started doing whatever the next thing was, and they felt like it took them to another level. This is the next level social media drug right here, is the fire algorithm to make you addicted. And then I've noticed patterns, right? So they give you a lot of views, like even on your first few videos on TikTok, and then they pull it back
from you. Yep.
Then they pull it back, and then you make a few more videos, and then on your third or your fourth one, they give you views again, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm lightweight popping, like what I'm doing is working.
Yeah.
Right. And then they probably give you more and more. And then let's say you go viral. Let's say you get 1 million views on a video or something like that. They're going to pull it back again at some point, and you're going to start getting like more of the average views, 1,000, 2,000, which, is actually a lot. But, in terms of if you have a video that went viral, 1 million views or whatever, now that 1 to 2,000 is nothing. And you're like, man, what's going on? Like what is what I'm doing now working now?
Yeah, they don't like me.
Yeah. And so you keep on wanting to create or whatever, and then you put out the next video, and you go viral again. You get that sensation again, and it keeps you attached to the platform in that kind of way. And not to mention, if you're somebody who's not a creator, like the quick videos is what keeps you there. The 15 seconds, the 30-second clips, the 1 minute clip. And it's just amazing to me, because we're into long form content, right? We do a podcast, so our content is like an hour or 2 hours sometimes. And then so to kind of explore in that world and kind of see how it's working, like I'm thinking beyond what I'm just the surface level of what I'm doing, and I'm noticing the different trends. So when you posted that poll and it's talking about taking all this stuff away at 6 o'clock, it just kind of it clears my mind. Like just the thought of that clears my mind. I'm like, wow, like what if we really didn't have all of that? Kind of like how we didn't have unlimited minutes back in the day when we had cell phones, and then they said, at 9 o'clock though, you'll be able to, use all your minutes.
Call who you want, wherever. Yeah.
On the phone forever, all night long, right? Because we had the ability. But then when we didn't have it,
don't call me till after 9.
But we were focused, kids were probably getting homework done. They're like, oh, if I get my homework done by 9 o'clock,
right there too,
I'm going to be able to be on the phone all night. But if I don't, like, my mom or my dad is going to take my phone from me or whatever.
Right.
So imagine if it was something like that once again. But, everything is unlimited now, and they got everybody just, unlimited everything. Unlimited, you can have this, have that, as long as it's bringing ad revenue in for the social medias and what have you. It's just so interesting to me. And, I'm super interested because, we're indulged in that right now. We're doing it right now. We're on live on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, we're contributing to that, but it's like we also live in this world. And like if you don't adapt, you definitely like fall through the cracks or whatever. Like I don't think content creation is everybody's fucking, should be everybody's gig. But like I don't know. I do recognize that myself, and there are times where I'm like, fuck, is this like part of me is like, okay, so we're having these conversations, with people, so we are in a way contributing to something that's could be good, right? Because a lot of people lack that in their life, you know? And but then there's the other part of me that's like, I'm part of the problem. Like, I am creating content and keeping people engaged and shit. Like, is this right? Should I be doing this? Like, I have a lot of like wars with myself, like internally about what we're doing.
But
Like,
see, that's where they get people, is that, you know, they provide the opportunity of a freedom, a type of freedom, like, because we want to do what we want to, we want to do what we love for work. You know what I'm saying? So we now have the opportunity to do that, as long as we're consistent and we're keeping engagement and doing all those things. Look, and I understand, like, tonight, like, hey, we don't got the foot cam, so I mean, I don't know what the engagement's like tonight. I'm not even gonna look, because that's not even the concern for me tonight. But, you know, it's just amazing to me that I don't know, like, it's just like a double, you know what I'm saying?
I think it all comes down to what it always comes down to with fucking everything, and that's moderation, right? Too much of anything is not a good thing. So, like, if you could learn to, and using things like within like intent, right? Like, if we're not just letting the shit use us, but we're using the shit. So, like, we use our social media to bring attention. Like, the whole purpose of why I post as often as I post on Instagram. Otherwise, I wouldn't fucking ever post. Like, to be 1000% with you, I wouldn't be showing people my fucking food, my cat. Like, I honestly wouldn't do any of that. I hardly ever post pictures on the feed because I don't, you know. But I'm constantly posting stories because it keeps engagement up. And when I have engagement, the engagement has helped the podcast, like, totally. And that's why I do. I notice how the algorithm treats me when I like check out for the weekend and I don't post shit on a weekend. Like, I'll notice, like, going from like 300 and something people seeing my stories to like 120. Like, it punishes you for not using it.
It does. It totally punishes you if you don't keep it consistent.
It
like,
really does. You literally have to just post the dumbest thing. Like,
Yep.
A picture of a cloud or some shit.
Posting consistently on Instagram, like, I'm talking like my story of viewers, like, it's gone up greatly. But if I take a day off at all, the next time I post, like, it'll show like 100 people my story, and I have 7,000 followers on Instagram.
Big Daddy algorithm don't like it.
Right. And sometimes I'm wondering, like, man, why, if I have 7,000 people on my Instagram, why is my stories not getting like in the, you know, like 3, 4, 5,000? Like, I understand not everybody that's following me is going to want to check out what I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't get that part, because why do you just not unfollow me if that's the case? You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just like, dang, like, why is the algorithm that way? Like, I'm wondering why sometimes they do some of the things they do, because I don't know, like, I don't know if they feel like people will just be less engaged. Like, they feel like they're looking at like what people are liking, right? And then they're trying to show them more of that, whether they're following them or not.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Because it's always the same people who look at my shit too. Like, I don't oftentimes see who sees my stories. I don't really have time to scroll and like check everybody out. But like, it'll show you the first few people, and it's always the same people. So it's like, they know that those people are engaging in my content, so they'll push my content to them.
One thing I super appreciate, though, about that kind of algorithm is that normally the people that truly support your content are never your family and friends. It's always people you don't know. So I like that part of the algorithm, that is showing it to people that probably aren't following me. It's probably showing some of the content to people who are brand new people, and those are the people most of the time, probably 9 times out of 10 who are going to truly consume your content, because it's never the people that you would want. I mean,
But
like,
you
not saying that we don't want
you
those
lightweight
new people. Of course, we want those new people. But I'm saying, like, sometimes you would expect, like, oh, I want my family and friends to support me, but then they never do. So maybe the algorithm picks up on things like that too, you know, because content creators are not going to create if they're not getting no kind of love whatsoever, and family and friends never show love. So
they really
sometimes
don't.
they do. And
But
shout
they
out
like
to
to
those
show
ones that
up
do.
when you make it, though.
They will show
When
up
you
when you
do
make
well,
it. Yeah.
that's when they show up. Like, oh, I
Shout
always
out
believed in
to
you.
y'all, because y'all are the ones that we truly recognize.
Well, yeah, we see you, motherfuckers.
Well, we recognize the supporters first and foremost,
Yeah.
actually, but we also recognize the ones that, you know, they
that
don't
are
show no kind of love.
waiting for us to fail.
I'm, you know, and to those who I've invited to the slide throughs, the people that I know, the people that I actually know, I'm inviting you to the slide throughs because I want to showcase what you got going on. Like, I'm not inviting you to the podcast just for, you know, just for benefits of the growth of our podcast. Yeah, of course, we want that as well. And we want to be engaging as possible, entertaining as possible. But we invite people to the podcast because we want to showcase what you got going on. So, you know, it's a compliment if we ever, you know, invited you to the podcast. And we wouldn't invite you to the podcast if we didn't believe that we could truly, you know, add value to what you got going on.
Right. Right. I mean, yeah, like I said, I've reached out to people who are like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then it was like when we only had like maybe like 500 to 1,000 subscribers. And then they were like, oh, like, nah, like, motherfucker, you don't barely have hardly more than me. Like, why do you think you're better? You're not better. Like, people like that are so whack to me. Like, it's literally like, I don't know, like just people who think that they're going to gain something from you. And it's like, that's not even that's not even what we're trying to do. Like, I have invited people that I think have something to teach people, or if they have a business, like maybe we can throw you some customers from this. Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, let's help each other out. Like, I know it takes a fucking village, like small businesses and shit like that. Like this is what it is. Like, we have to like help each other out. And so
I got the phone line on there. Continue.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know.
Turn it on at some point, though.
That's just how I feel about that. Like,
no, I'm with you, man. And then, you know, like, shout out to the people who, you know, are, you know, making great waves in the content world. Like our last slide through, Sonia Maya, right? You know, over 500,000 followers on TikTok, right? You know, 10K.
She wasn't too cool to come be on our show.
She wasn't too cool to come be on the show.
We respect
came on, kicked it, talked about some great topics, and, you know, and wasn't above it because she understands what content creation is about. And it wasn't
starting from the bottom.
Yeah, totally. She started from the bottom, and you know, most content creators do. So, you know, I hope that one day, you know, when a new content creator reaches out, you know, we could be one of those, you know, one of those people that, you know,
like help
collab.
Them build their platform. Yeah, totally. So
man.
out of the 158 people, like I told you, I'm being punished right now, who saw the story, only about 42 engaged in the poll, which is one of the lowest numbers. I usually get a lot more engagement in my polls. But 34 people said that they would be down for Instagram to only operate during certain hours.
And what was the percentage of that again?
That is 81% of the people that voted said yes.
See, most people are calling for it. Most people want it. A lot of people want that real love once again. You know, they want that family love, that family time once again, where you only spoke to the people that were actually close in your life. And you know, the people that truly matter to you. Yeah.
And then the people who said, like, who had something more to say about it was more of the self-control, social media is addicting. If it were implemented, people would be more productive. And then someone said that they think it'd be good if it shut down like that because they use social media as a crutch sometimes. So like, and that's true. Like, I'm definitely one of those people who, if I'm going through some shit, I'm gonna avoid it. Avoid having to deal with anything, or because I just can't deal with it or don't want to deal with it. Like, and I think that people would rather be distracted by something than like actually face whatever they have going on, you know? Healing, right. Confronting the trauma and dealing with the shit that's in front of them, like whatever it is.
Not realizing all that.
No, I mean, yes and no.
Right. Oftentimes it actually depresses them too, though.
It makes it worse. Yeah, because your problem's not going to go away. It's not going to magically go away. You're just procrastinating, and you're going to eventually have to deal with it. And sometimes it's even harder the longer it takes you to actually face your shit. So
totally.
Yeah. So that was that.
Yeah, social media is not always the answer.
It's not always the answer.
SideFriend Chronicles podcast is.
It sure is. You can count on us. I also went further in those for demographics for the people who said yes to disclose their age, because I was curious if it was people more our age that were down with this, right, and versus like maybe younger people would be like, nah. And most of the responses were 30 and older, but there were a couple of people. The youngest was 26 that said, yeah, like we could.
The younger generation, they're like, no way.
They're like, no, don't take away my
social media.
Cell phone. Yeah.
Because they never experienced what it was like without it. That's probably why. They never knew.
They don't know the story of the landline, and they don't know the story of the dial-up internet and your inability to use them together. They don't know. They don't know what that's like to be able to go to the store. And then if you fucking need to call somebody or forget something or whatever, you're fucked. You just got to drive back home and figure it out. Or if you're like your shit breaks down, you're fucked. You got to walk somewhere.
Yeah.
Or wait for someone to pull over and help you. In those ways, I think technology is great, because now, and as a mom, like I can't imagine leaving my house and not having access to like getting a hold of my kids like that, you know, to make sure they're okay or whatever the fuck. And so
in those kind of ways, it's absolutely awesome.
But I don't need social media to contact my kids, because my kids aren't allowed to have it. So
I love it when we talk about nostalgic times.
I know.
And I think that's why the age group 30 on up, they truly experienced what it was like without all of the social medias and everything.
I think they should all have to like kids these days, they get a cell phone at like 6 or 8 years old, right? I think everybody should have landlines again who have children. And I think that your children should have to experience the landline and not be able to use the internet and the telephone at the same time. I think your children should have to use a cassette to record music off the fucking radio the way that we used to, rather than downloading it on iTunes. I did.
I have the most cracking recording, and then you gotta like re-record over it if you wanted
new songs. Yeah. I think that it's like a rite of passage. I feel like they should have to do that. And a rite of passage. Like I might implement this. Now, what I won't do though is let them download music from like a Napster or a LimeWire on my computer, because they're not fucking with my computer. Like,
oh man, I loved.
I'm gonna have to get it off the radio. Like
those were the days right there, man. And burning CDs. Oh man, I used to have the most fire mixtapes. Oh man,
I think I'm just gonna make them download some music via the radio, which sucks for my kids, because my kids are like huge anime nerds, and I'm actually starting to like get into anime. I never thought I'd see the day, but I am. And a lot of the music my kids listen to is like, I don't know, I'm kind of like perplexed.
They like EDM probably, huh?
It's emotional EDM.
Emotional EDM.
It's like emo EDM. Like I don't know how else to fucking explain it.
Well,
I
that's the
don't know
music
what the
that's
genre
hot.
is. Like,
That's the music that's hot these days. They
and
like emo music.
it makes me think of my dad because, like, when we were this age and I'm all trying to play like Mo Money, Mo Problems.
Right.
And my dad's like, what the fuck is this? You know, like,
Yeah.
this isn't music. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like, you're so lame. Like, nobody wants to listen to AC/DC, dad. Like, chill, you know?
I
Like,
can't imagine being one of those parents that knock on the door, bang on the door, turn it down. Like, I hate that music. Like, I would
Oh.
never be that parent because I love all music. And I even love, you know, the new stuff that the kids are listening to. But I remember back in the day, I mean, my parents were never like that. So that's probably why I would never be like that.
maybe
But
mine
like,
were.
I remember there was this family across the street from where I grew up, and their family, they were like Mormon or, you know, some kind of religion, and so they were more religious, and, you know, their son enjoyed listening to rock music. And I remember he used to have to hide his rock and roll cassettes and his rock and roll CDs or whatever. And then one day his dad found them and broke them all. This is the devil, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that happened. Like, his dad was Ned Flanders.
Christ is watching. Oh my God. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
Watch too much Simpsons. Like, don't be watching Simpsons and then doing all that, Ned. Come on.
I don't like super hate the music that they play, but it is different and it does give me like, I do have to take a moment and like I listen to the lyrics first and foremost. I'm like, who's influencing my child and what, you know? But like, I do have the moments where I let them be DJ, and I think since we moved back to California, like in Oregon, my kids didn't really like the music I played. Like, I couldn't play my 90s hip hop and R&B. They fucking hated it, you know? Like, I could only play like shit I don't like to play, which is like Taylor Swift and shit like that. Can't stand that music. But now that they've lived down here and they've had more access to their older brothers, who are hip to that music because, you know, me, their dad, their uncles, you know, their mom, they all listened to that shit because we're all of that era. So now if they play it, it's cool. And like now my daughter's like, yeah, let's play some Bryson Tiller. Like, oh, okay. Now because your brothers, now that your brothers, you know, have put you on, or you allowed them to put you on, but not me, like, it's cool.
Bryson Tiller's new stuff ain't all that good, but that Don't
she's
song.
Still like into it. Yeah. She like, what's that one song she likes? The
Don't.
No, it's not that one.
Like, don't be the sun.
I love Bryson Tiller. But it's another song of his that she likes.
And I'm better. I want you this ever. That's a slap.
Yeah.
Man, we need some more
Self-righteous and
R&B like that.
Like, yeah, I liked those songs. But like I said, now my kids are more like our road trip to Oregon. Like, my daughter, she likes Kalani now, and she like, you know what I mean? Like, she likes this shit that I'll listen to. And
you like how I was sending you those slaps, huh? Well, a couple of them. That artist, by the way, never responded to me. So shame on you, artist.
Which artist? Oh,
it was a dude. I ain't gonna say his name.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Too
he
cool
was like, he was too cool. Yeah, he only has
wait till we're too cool followers. For you.
Like, chill, bro. I was trying to help you out. Like, and he was like, yeah, I'm totally down to be on a podcast. And then see guys, that's the thing about the foot cam, is that I think that sometimes the foot cam might make some of the guests that we can be having on the pod, it kind of makes them like, I don't know. But, you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, we do what we do, so it is what it is.
Well, that is the thing. So like, this is my dilemma with the whole foot cam thing. First of all, the whole reason that I was down to do it was because, first of all, the people seemed to enjoy it, right? And I know that there's a lot of like shame towards the foot fetish community. And I mean, I think I've said all this before, but I'll say it again. And I felt like I was doing my part to help it be a positive thing and like in maybe normalizing it a little bit more. But at the same time, like, I don't think it's weird to have a foot fetish, but I think some of the people who have foot fetishes are fucking weird to me. Like, the way that they talk to me or interact with me is like very off-putting. And so that piece kind of makes me like, yo, that like this is not aligning with like my core values. And it's not like that I'm like I've been accused of by that other podcast of like using the foot fetish community to build whatever. And like, that's not fucking true. Like, that couldn't be further from the truth. Because honestly, at this point, the foot cam is more hindering than helping, because it is putting off people who would otherwise listen. But I continue because I had committed to this. But in all honesty, a lot goes into showing you guys my feet. Like, I'm the kind of chick where like if I'm going out into the world, like I try to be on my game. You know what I mean? Like, and it costs a lot of money to keep up feet. Like, I don't think you guys really I live in Southern California. My rent is $2,500 a month for a tiny ass apartment. I'm a single mom. I have one source of income. I'm not like pimping my toes out on the internet. I totally could be, you know, I do get offers, but that in and of itself is a full-time fucking job. Constantly trying to, I've tried it and I'm really bad at it. Like, I'm trying to take pictures of my feet. It's not just like that's not how that works. It has to look like aesthetically pleasing, and that isn't always possible. I have kids in my house 24/7 because they are not in full-time school, you know, so like they don't need to be seeing me taking pictures of my feet for random dudes on the internet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's that piece too. And then when I do show my foot in the cam, you guys have seen a lot of the comments and the people who come in here just fucking like being mad disrespectful. And like, yes, I could just be like, nah, I'm not going to fucking pay attention to that. It's really hard to not pay attention to that though, when it's like,
I try
right
to tell
there
her
in
not
my
to,
face.
but she's like,
it's hard not to, because like you're coming onto my shit where I put my heart and soul into like creating content, and then you're going to come shit on me. Because why? Because you can't fucking bust your nut unless I curl my toes. Like, that's disgusting to me. Like, I'm not here for you to fucking like jerk off on. Like, that's not what I'm doing. So that part of me is like I want to chill on the foot cam, like, because I don't feel like it's serving me. It's no longer a positive thing for me. And I need to protect my energy. Like, y'all know that I went into like a whole ass depression just recently for like several weeks, something fierce. And then with that added to it, like, that wasn't helping me. And so like, if I can't establish these boundaries, like, what am I doing? Like, it's going to make me hate the podcast. And like, that's the last thing that I'm going to allow strangers to fucking do to me. So like, that's just where I'm coming from. And I hope you guys can understand. I'm sorry if that's what you were here for. Like I said, refer to previous videos, go off. But as of right now, that's not serving me. And so I'm going to chill on that.
Yeah, man. And we got a lot of, you know, different ideas and plans for the channel, because we do realize we've built an audience of people that do enjoy the foot cam. So, you know, like we got some ideas, but I mean, the reason why this podcast in particular, number 66, is called Here to Pod, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to pod. We're here to have a good time with the topics and conversations and everything, and just talk about that. I mean, it's a show overall. So, there's always going to be new ideas, more content, just different styles of entertainment, because we're never going to stop creating. But I mean, me as the co-host of this show, I could only respect her wishes and make sure that she's happy and enjoying the podcast as well, because this is what we're going to be doing. And we both treat SideFriend Chronicles podcast with as much respect as possible. So, like, and I'm with you, Stella. Like, I mean, I'm all about the energy too. And I love creating great energy, keeping good energy, great energy. And, that's what I'm all about as well. And I mean, man, like, so as long as you're protecting your energy, I mean, that's what I'm about too. So we're eye to eye on that. And if it means that certain people won't watch it, well, then those are just the people that we don't need watching the show and listening to the show. And that's just what it is. But I do feel like we got a lot of people now that enjoy the talking piece and enjoy podcasting in general. I mean, dude, there's people out there, I mean, that, hit us up all the time about the different topics, and enjoy everything that we're bringing to the table. So, shout out to those people.
Yeah. I had to get it off my chest.
Nah, we rock with that.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's gonna, like, I'll never do it again. Like, I will. I just need a moment.
Yeah.
I need a moment.
I think sometimes everybody needs a moment to kind of sit back, relax, and just kind of see what they truly want to do,
Yeah, for sure.
But
I have another
what you got?
You want to finish your thought?
Nope. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, to shift gears,
okay,
lighten things up a little.
All right.
I saw a video that was actually, I saw it from Miss Lexi Charday.
Shout
from
out Lexi.
Fart Talk, my girl, holla.
Farts. Go listen to that Fart Talk radio sometime.
She showed me a TikTok video, and I don't know if I could like play it here for you guys somehow, or like maybe show you guys my phone with it. Really
if you
funny.
send it to me, I could play. I
sent it to you, but I don't know. It's kind of funny. Maybe I'll try. Let me know if it works, and if it doesn't, then I'll just like explain it to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on a second.
You got away? Are you gonna show them?
I'm going to try. Hold on. Okay. So maybe I'll put my microphone to it somehow. Can you guys see my screen?
Oh, that one.
Yes. But
play it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try.
Are you showing my DM?
Yeah, well, it's just
go follow me, everybody. Daddy Goods on Instagram.
Okay, so I sent Jimmy this, and the question says, guys, do you want girls to fart in front of you? Did you hear me? Do you guys want girls to fart in front of you? So, hi.
Do you want a girl that you're like interested in seeing to fart around you?
Yes, absolutely. Especially this day and age with artificial intelligence. I gotta make sure you ain't Siri or Alexa trying to get me for a nut. So what I'm saying is, does that ass come with gas? If not, I'm gonna have to pass. Make it two, or get the boot. Let it rip, or take a trip. We can't make art if you don't fart, baby. Let that booty sing. Very good.
That is hilarious.
Okay.
That is so funny.
I died. I fucking died. His
voice.
Whoa,
don't say that. We don't use that kind of language. Go ahead.
I use that kind of language. I died.
Oh my
I thought it was hilarious. But it brought up the other thing, which is queefing. So, I have heard before that men enjoy that happening because it makes them feel like I beat that shit up, like I did that. You know what I mean? Like, because essentially what that comes from is like when you're in a certain position and like you're getting pumped, like you're literally allowing air to get pushed into you like that. Like,
yeah.
Which
it's the doggy style position
it's the doggy style position that does that. And the thing too about that is sometimes it's like it could get uncomfortable if you're pumping way too much shit in there. Like, we could only hope that shit comes out. Like, you know what I mean? But I asked, like, how do men feel about that? I asked that as a poll because I really am genuinely curious.
Let's hear some of the responses.
Let's hear some of the responses.
All right. How do men feel about queefing? Stella, go.
One says, we don't give a fuck. If we get to hear it, that means we're smashing and life is good. Another one said, if it's one time, all right. Consistent, damn. Somebody said, I don't mind it, but as a younger man, I was like, what the fuck is this? Somebody else.
That was mine. That was mine.
I didn't want to out you like that, but okay.
I ain't tripping. I out myself on a pod every week.
Right. Another man said, loud and proud, boo-boo. Another one said, it's part of the game. Make it fun as long as they don't stink. How would it stink? That's weird.
Yeah. You might want her to go
see a doctor. Yeah.
Get some of that summer's eve. Yeah.
No, that's worse for you. That's really bad for you.
Right.
Ladies, do not use that shit. Somebody else said, not a big deal. I mean, we're grown adults having sex. It happens. Another man said, it's natural. I've always tried to not make a big deal out of it. If you think about it, it's our fault. Thank you, sir, for owning that.
That is true. It is the guy's fault.
And then another one says, who cares? Half the time it's the guy's fault for pulling it out and putting it back in. Yes, that's true. But there was one person who said, no, thanks. I'm not with it. And that's a younger guy that's saying that. So maybe that's what it is. It's like younger men are like.
It's like foreign. You're like,
yeah.
You're like, what is that? Like, did you fart? Because it sounds like a fart.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then I asked the women how they feel about it, and women are like, I think it's because for me, like I remember the first time that happened, I was mortified. And for a long time, every time that happened, I felt like embarrassed, like shamed. Like I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like how and what, you know? Now that I'm 36 years old, like I get it. But at that time, I didn't.
So the younger people aren't down with the queef. Older people are like, I understand what that is.
Or whatever. Yeah. So one woman said her boyfriend laughs and it's mortifying to her.
He's like, damn, babe, chill.
Another woman said it's natural and you can either ignore it or laugh it off. And then another woman said it always makes me laugh. Like, what the fuck? Another woman said it's normal. And another woman said it's embarrassing, but when you're with the right partner, they get it and it means they hitting it right.
I mean, it could mean that you're hitting it right.
That, yeah.
It could mean a lot of different things. You know what that brings to mind is during a slide through episode, our most recent one with Sonia Maya, she was talking about how women do something called ballooning. It's when the vaginal hole kind of opens up more when she's very horny. And I wonder if that has something to do with it. When the woman is on her way to orgasming, her vagina is maybe opening up a little more, which in that time of opening, like there's more air going inside of it potentially. And maybe that's why it's called ballooning. No,
it's whenever a woman is aroused, her vagina opens up to 2 inches. Imagine if it didn't do that. Like if it didn't do 2 inches. That's like 2 of this part of your finger.
That's like That's like
Yeah. Yeah. So that women's vaginas open up when they're aroused, and that's a good thing because if it didn't, sex would be incredibly painful for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And when it is like that, and you are in certain positions, like not ever fucking like you know how some guys will come in at a certain angle, so they're like putting pressure like down on a certain part, so it might leave some space for some shit to get in there, but mostly that happens if you're like pulling it all the way out and putting it all the way back in. If it's consistently in there, I think that it happens less.
Could we talk about blue lip again? Because I think our Monday live listeners would love to hear about the blue lip and blue balls.
So when men don't ejaculate, they get blue balls. When we don't get ours, she said it's called blue lipping it, even though it's not like a physiological thing. It does when we don't have an orgasm from sex, like I know I get like incredibly aggravated. Like
does it hurt down there though? Like, do you?
No,
like,
it doesn't physically. It doesn't physically hurt, but like it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt, but it knows something ain't right. Like it's like what the fuck? Like, and I think that translates like into our attitude, like, and we'll try to be nice because we're conditioned to be more focused on our man orgasming rather than ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's not okay.
I haven't experienced blue balls in so long that I forgot what it actually feels like.
I honestly feel like when I was breastfeeding and when you're super engorged, but you can't like breastfeed your child or pump, that the pain that I experienced from that, I feel like that would be close to what men feel like with blue balls.
Yeah, man. Like seriously, it's been so long. But if I had to remember, like it wasn't like a pain that lasted. It was just like more of a frustration. Like, man, like I wanted to get it in and she's not with it. It was more of like a teenage thing, you know?
Yeah.
You're like with a chick and you're trying to get it in, but
at this age, just go fucking
jerk off.
You know, take care of it. Yeah. But I mean, that's the other thing, like for women, like if I don't get mine, like I'm not just gonna like roll over and be done. Like I'm gonna roll over, I'm gonna handle that shit myself right in front of you or whatever. Like,
hey yo, you know it would be tight if we open the phone line for any possible people. I mean,
yeah, let's do it.
Fuck it. We could talk about maybe stories of times they got blue balls or blue lips.
Blue balls. I mean, I hope there's women who are watching this because I feel like it's always all men. Where are my sisters?
Sisters from other misters.
Yes. But yeah, I asked the people. That's what they had to say. I'm glad finally more women responded because before the podcast, it was only one person and I was like, damn, you hoes are whack as fuck. Like, how come y'all don't answer shit, you know? But I get it. Like, it's an embarrassing thing. And even me, who I feel like I'm very open-minded, I'm very like comfortable with my body for the most part. Like,
what's up with that calendar, by the way?
Oh yeah, that calendar. So if you guys do still want a EstelaTheBella calendar,
will there be feet involved?
It will show my feet, but it will not be foot focused. If y'all still want that, I actually have made some moves into the production of that. And I'm thinking timeline-wise, you can pre-order maybe in September, maybe September, and then I will be distributing them in November so that you can have them for December and for all of next year. Yeah.
That's merch
So
right there.
if you guys would like that, let me know, because honestly, it's going to cost a lot of money. So I don't want to do it and then go even further in the hole than I have with pedicures, to be honest.
Maybe we could do, we could set up a pre-order thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to do, but I'm not going to do it until it's like I got all the pictures, because it's going to take a. First of all, I'm working out again, finally. Getting my ass fucking right-ish. Because I do enjoy being slightly thick. You know, I used to be pretty ripped. Yeah, I was like 2 sizes smaller. But yeah, and that's kind of like where I'm at, and I'm comfortable with that. Like, I'm good. But I will look better. I will look slightly better, less flabby. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna take a while to create it, and then get it all edited and pretty and printed and all that shit. So hopefully I'm not wasting time and money. We will find out.
Did anybody watch Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders, by the way? Anybody watched the Canelo fight over the weekend?
I did not.
You know, I love to talk about fighting around this time of the podcast.
I wanted to watch it, and I was actually supposed to go to a friend's house to watch it, but then I didn't. So.
Oh, word. It was a good one. Canelo whooped that ass.
I figured he would. You know,
I knocked the guy's eyeball out.
My hair doesn't look as red on this camera and in this setting, but like if I step outside, my hair is like orange as shit. So,
yeah, it was great. It was a good fight. Well, it was what I liked about it was that it was like a live event, and it had like 73,000 people inside the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. And I was like, okay, COVID does not exist in Texas no more.
COVID's over in Texas and in Florida.
I was like, wow, okay. I want to go to Texas.
That's why, you know, the gods punish them with hurricanes and a fucking winter storm.
Is that right?
Because
everybody from Texas right now, they're like, okay.
They're not. I know. I mean, no shade, but also shade.
No shade, but also shade.
A little bit of shade, because I don't know. Sometimes I feel like y'all aren't the brightest crayons in the box. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but Canelo almost knocked the guy's eyeball out, though.
I heard that he shattered an eye socket or something.
Yeah, he did. Like, and you've seen it, like the effects of it, like immediately afterwards. Like his dude's eye was like shut completely, right? Like immediately afterwards. And Canelo started, you know, kind of hyping up the crowd, like telling everybody, come on, you know, and the crowd was just roaring. I mean, 73,000 people, you know, you can only imagine. And of course, it's all pro Canelo crowd, right? So just the event in general, it was good to see an event like that, honestly.
Well,
I mean, aside from like the thought of all the potential COVID cases that are coming from a crowd of 73,000 people that close together, I mean, just to see like a live event like that again. And then they had that Grammy nominated or Grammy winning artist, the young chick Aguilar. I can't recall her first name right now, but she's like a young, like 17-year-old singer chick. She reminds me of like a young Selena or something like that. And, you know, she came, performed alongside some other Mexican artists. And it was just a cool event, man. And Canelo went out, performed, and shattered the guy's eye socket. So, I mean,
that guy was trying to get out of the fight too, huh?
Well, he was trying to get like a bigger ring than he's ever fought in before. And he was saying that Canelo and his crew, they were trying to pretty much take away his legs because he's a fighter that moves around a lot. And he said, no, I want a 22 foot ring, and so everybody was like, oh, he's just looking for excuses or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so he finally got what he wanted. Canelo was like, I don't care, like I'll fight in any size ring.
Fuck yeah.
Like dude, he might have been trying to get out of the fight, but after Canelo did that to his eye, he just all out. His corner said no, he's not going back out there, so they called the fight off, or not off, but you know, his corner basically threw in a towel for him at that point. So it was a TKO stoppage victory for Canelo. So shout out to Canelo, Mexican warrior, best boxer in the world right now. So definitely not Jake Paul and Logan Paul, but we spoke about that before.
We have. Oh my god, that meme with Sam Jackson.
Oh yeah, that was funny, huh? When he took Floyd's hat. What's Floyd got going on upstairs?
I don't think he was expecting to lose his hat. I mean, obviously men wear hats when they don't want to do their hair or when they're having some shit going on, but that looked like some gray and some balding.
Yeah, he was definitely embarrassed, and he wanted to really whoop on Jake after that.
Yeah, for sure. And whether it was, it was very convincing if it was just a show, to be honest.
Well, I mean, Jake,
he looked mad.
Jake did plan it though, and he
Jake
even did a TikTok.
Did Floyd plan it?
No, Floyd didn't. Jake planned it and did a
Okay.
TikTok. He said, hey, everybody. Like he did like a little whispering TikTok. Hey, everybody, I'm going to go and take Floyd's hat. We're going to see what happens. And then he did it, and Floyd was hot, man. He wanted
Some of these white boys just need to get their ass whipped. Yeah.
He punched him too. And though you can't really see it on the camera, you can hear it. You can hear the thuk, you know, and you can see Floyd kind of move his hand real fast. I mean, obviously Floyd, he can punch real fast, and I think he did it in a way where he knew the bodyguard was covering the camera that was filming him at the moment. So I think he knew what he was doing, and he gave Jake Paul a black eye. So yeah, man. And then they try to say that the bodyguard did it, but it was probably Floyd, obviously, right? And it was probably well deserved. So whatever. Whatever.
I don't know. I mean, obviously the guy knows what to do to get views and money.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point you have to like be respectable, you know, like I don't feel like I don't know that I could, like I said, like compromise my integrity for a payday. Like, I don't know, like they say everybody has a price,
you're showing that tonight, you know, by no foot cam. You're not compromising your integrity, right?
Right. I mean, it was getting kind of like not lining with my values, like I said. So I need to take a break from that and chill.
Not that women that do show their feet, you know.
No, I mean everybody's different, but I am putting myself out here like that, and I was receiving, you know, mixed things, and I like, if you guys follow and watch and comment and read the comments, like, you know, there has been like gnarly abusive comments in there, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm just gonna chill off that right now.
Right.
So.
But we have a good collection of people that got blocked though.
We do.
Shout out to the people living inside the SFC blockage area, coming up with their dozen new accounts.
Yep.
How do you have so much time to make so many different accounts? I mean, fake accounts at that. Like if there's like a purpose behind it.
Email for each one of them?
I think so. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Like there must be like an unlimited amount of storage in all of these clouds, all of these iClouds and whatever different clouds there are out there, the Amazon clouds and whatever. Yeah. I mean, think about the amount of footage that's on YouTube, right? Or the amount of video content that's on YouTube. Like think about our channel in general. Every single podcast we have a video to, there is an hour or 2 hours worth of content, right?
Yeah.
Just think, and it's like 1, 2, 3 gigabytes. It's like up to 3 gigabytes of storage space, right? And it's in some kind of cloud. Like where are these cloud facilities? There's got to be like huge football size facilities, right? With just nothing but everybody's information. That's kind of scary actually, because there's one out here in Vegas, and it is called, can't think of the name right now, but it's basically like a cloud storage facility. It's heavily guarded. They got gates that, you know, got the spikes at the top and everything. And I Googled it one day, and this cloud storage facility has everybody's Facebook information, doctor information, like everything that the doctors type in at the hospital. I'm like,
Yeah, because
damn.
they all use like an online thing now instead of paper.
Right. So it's
Our
going,
medical charts are somewhere on the internet ready to be hacked. Like,
it is. And it's probably already on the dark web.
yeah.
Everybody's medical information is probably on the dark web.
Everybody knows
for a price.
when you've had an STD, your blood pressure, your whatever the fuck. Like, it's right there.
Hey, speaking of that, like everybody's showing their vax cards. Like, what's up with showing your STD cards, everybody?
Yep. Let's see it. Let's
Do you think
see
people are ready to do that or what?
Hell no. Nobody's ready for that.
No shot?
I can honestly say I'm part of the crew that has never had one.
You
And
never
I am
had an STD?
No, and I'm really, really,
good
really
job.
grateful. I know.
That's
There are
something
many
to be proud
times
of.
where I was like afraid. I'm like a hypochondriac. So
Mhm.
like any little thing that's like different or whatever, like
Yeah.
fucking freaks me out. So like this might be TMI, but I don't know if anybody else struggles with it. So fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Pubes suck.
Pubes?
Pubes suck.
Why do pubes suck?
Okay, so I've been shaving I've been, taking care of that since they first started growing. Like,
You never had a bush?
no.
Hmm.
Only time I had a slight bush was when I was pregnant and I couldn't see my fucking vagina to like shave it. It was really hard for me to do that.
All right.
So, and I have really like thick hair. Like my hair is very strong and very thick. And like down there as well. And so when my hair grows back, it's very like sharp. And I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but it's so sharp that it literally like fucking, I feel like stabs me and it hurts so bad. So I try to keep it like from doing that, right? And so like a month and a half ago, I went and got like a Brazilian wax for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
That shit hurt like all hell. Like all hell. But it was so nice to not have to shave for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
It was really, really nice. And now that it's starting to grow back, it's not even fully growing back. It's like it's very scarce and patchy. But the little patches that are growing back stab the fucking shit out of me. So I'm like waiting for it to get to the length so that I could go and get it waxed again, right? And hopefully just rid myself of this shit that like drives me crazy. Because when it starts to stab me, I'm like, oh my God, what if I have something going on down there? And then I shave and then I feel better. And I'm like, oh, it was just my hair.
How did this come
An
up in your
STD
head?
conversation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like,
So what do
I've
pubes have to do with STDs?
I've never had an STD,
Okay.
but when my fucking hair like stabs me or cuts me and it causes like an irritation, like razor burn or some shit, like I always like freak out and I'm like, do I have an STD? Like,
do you think people that have STDs are nasty?
No, I just think they got, unlucky. They fucked with the wrong person.
Yeah.
Like
It's
you trusted
okay.
the
Like,
wrong
would
person.
you talk to somebody who has had an STD before? Like let's say like we
I
were
think a
able
lot
to
of
like see all this
people have had an
information
STD.
before talking to somebody new, right? And it showed, okay, this person had chlamydia 5 years ago. Would you still talk to this person?
I mean, I would talk to this person, but like I would want to make sure they don't have chlamydia before I have sex with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, chlamydia is something that goes away. Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's all these other questions, right? Like I think the thing is like people can live long, full lives with like HIV now, right? There's like medication.
Right.
Like you can have a relationship with someone who has HIV because if they're taking like that antiviral like medication, right? Like
Yeah.
you can have sex with them and hopefully not catch it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows condoms don't always protect you from everything. You can catch herpes, you can catch HPV, and all these things, even if you wear condoms. Like, the only guarantee is if you don't have sex, you don't get, fucking STDs. Now, if somebody, like, I have had a guy who I, was starting to kind of like talk to, like, I kissed him a couple of times. No, but like one time we were like making out after like watching a movie in his bed.
Mhm.
And he disclosed to me that he had herpes.
Oh shit.
And which I appreciate. I appreciate that he
yeah. You gotta appreciate
was
the honesty.
honest.
What a terrible time to disclose that you have herpes.
Right. But I think it's because he wanted me to know in case it went further, like what that risk was, right?
Yeah.
And
doesn't kissing somebody with herpes give you herpes though?
No, because not genital herpes and oral herpes are two different things.
Okay.
Like actually half of the world has oral herpes.
That's why canker sores happen, right?
Yeah, like fever blisters, like shit like that. Like, and most people have them, and you get that from like maybe your parents have it and don't know that they have it, and they share a drink with you when you're a kid. There you go. Yeah. Like sharing drinks with friends at school and things like that. Like people are just passing that shit left and right, and they don't know that they have it. Because there's some people who don't ever get a sore or a blister, but test positive for oral herpes. So, there's that. But even if you don't have a breakout with herpes, like you're not actively, like there's not something actually happening on there. And if you wear a condom, you could still catch it. Like these are just the fucking facts, and it sucks. So I do really appreciate that guy disclosed that to me. Now, do I feel like an asshole because I kind of was like, okay, like didn't pursue that any further.
Abstinence.
And part of that is I'm not trying to get a permanent disease from somebody that I'm probably temporarily fucking with.
Permanent disease for a temporary pleasure.
Right.
That
like
doesn't sound like
it's not worth it. It's not worth it to me. So there's that. I always said though, if a motherfucker gives me something permanent like that, we're getting married. Like getting married. And
there you go, fellas. If you want to marry Stella, seduce her, freak her, and give her an STD.
Yeah. So like, because if you give me some shit like that, and like now I can't go be with someone else because obviously like I would probably never have sex again. I don't know. I'm just crazy like that.
Yeah, it would totally suck to have.
I would go into a gnarly depression. Like
there's a lot of homosexuals that live with that, and
straight people.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, it's more common in that community, though, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think that that's true. No.
I mean,
I think that was just the stigma. Like that's
is that a stigma or is that a fact?
Yeah, well, no, because there was the whole like AIDS epidemic, right, in the 80s, but that was broadcasted in mainstream media specifically to like in a way to like hurt the gay community, like because being gay is a sin or whatever the fuck, like
right.
That was just how they pushed that to like make people fucking hate them, like
really. Okay.
And so on. And no, it's not just like a majority gay people have, like a lot of people
No
get it from
offense to anybody, by the way.
no, it's a lot of people get it from intravenous drug use,
Mm-hmm.
like sharing
Right.
needles and
That
shit
is
like
true.
that.
Pain needles. Yeah, that's a
You
fact.
know, rape.
Okay.
It can be passed through breast milk. So if the
Really?
mom has it and she breastfeeds her child and she maybe doesn't know she has it, which there's no, I don't know that could possibly happen because when you're pregnant, they test you for that shit like a few times. Because they test you for these things to make sure that when the baby's born, like they know how to handle that.
Right.
But yeah, through breast milk or, you know, obviously, you know, either vaginal secretions or, you know, male ejaculation, but it's easier to get it either through the intravenous drug use or through anal sex because that's like a direct like.
Well, see, that's why I
For the
was under the
bloodstream.
impression that community is more susceptible to it because it's
But-
more anal going on.
No,
So-
but it's not true though. That might be the only way that they like can penetrate each other. But I mean, a lot of heterosexual couples have anal sex. So
yeah, I mean, maybe, possibly.
not maybe, it happens.
I feel like it's
We've had
definitely
this
a
conversation.
minority
A
of
lot of people have
anal
anal
sex.
sex. No, I don't even think it's a minority. I think it's
Do you?
way more. I think it's way more
I bet
common.
you if we had 10 people in the room and everybody was just completely honest, I bet you there wouldn't be a good majority of them that did it.
Literally
It
almost
might have been
every,
like once or twice, but not like normally. With
almost every guy I've ever had sex with has wanted to put it in my ass.
But did he?
I wouldn't let him.
Exactly my point.
I don't get down
Most
like that.
heterosexual people, that's not
But
what
the point is,
they
if
like.
a man can, he fucking will. And that's why what people have issues with men and women being friends, because if he is given the opportunity to fuck you, he'll take it. If he's given the opportunity to put it in your ass, he'll put it in your ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. So that's why it's really like harmful to say that it's a gay disease or it mostly happens to gay people. You know what I mean? Because it's just so
well, just to be clear,
untrue.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I thought that was like an actual fact.
Right.
You know?
So
Agnetha says, I watched a movie once where a guy let a stripper rub her butt on his face, and Seth Rogen says, that's how you get pink eye.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. So if you get pink eye, we're gonna automatically think that you went to the strip club and let a stripper rub
had an ass in your face, or somebody farted on your pillow.
I've seen some horrific activities from the male species at the strip club, I must say.
Yeah.
And some of those strippers will do it on purpose. All right, so Uber story from Daddy Goods, everybody, because I know you all know it's that time. Yeah. So all right, one night I was giving a ride to a chick, and this was years ago, right? But I have so many Uber stories. I was giving a ride to a chick one night, stripper. I would give strippers rides quite often, and they would tell me a lot of interesting stories. And this one night, this chick is in the car, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, guys were just tripping tonight, and they were just out of pocket. And I'm so glad I did what I did. I ate a whole bunch of tacos before I went to work. I took multiple shits in the bathroom, and my ass was just." I barely even wiped my ass, and guys just kept on telling me they wanted to eat my butt, and I was just rubbing my face all in there, rubbing her ass just all in their faces, and she was telling me how she took multiple shits. So a lot of these guys were eating this chick's booty, and she had feces probably still on her butt. So guys, watch out when you go to these strip clubs, because these strippers, they might have
oh my god!
They might have some feces left on their
that
butt.
Should be illegal.
So don't be eating butts at strip clubs, gentlemen. Okay, no grocery shopping at the strip club. All right, that's rule. That's like rule number 5 in the what not to do at a strip club handbook. Rule number 1 is don't go to the ATM at the strip club because the fee is like $30. Rule number
That is
2,
foul as fuck.
don't
dude.
drink too much at the strip club. Rule number
They'll
3,
rob me blind.
don't go to the strip club with any credit cards. Don't go to the strip club with too much cash. Rule number 4, don't try to put your dick in any of the strippers because they all will probably I don't know. Just don't try to do it. And number 5 is don't be grocery shopping at the strip club. So I had to just repeat that to you all. As a matter of fact, if you all want the what not to do at a strip club handbook, let me know because I could give you the daddy goods 101 what not to do at a strip club. Not that I have just all the experience in the world, but I think I could help a little bit is all I'm saying. I live in Vegas, everybody.
You should you should create a little TikTok of your rules of what not to do.
Hey, tell me that off air because now there's like a whole bunch of people doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do it like right after this podcast. What not
you have
to do.
to. You gotta hurry up.
Just
Someone's
because I
already
know
on it.
I'm gonna do it. So if any of you take that idea, then I'm gonna be so upset. Stella, you're not supposed to be telling ideas like that live on the pod. Golly, man, that could be like my first viral video on TikTok. Daddy Goods, everybody follow me on TikTok and Instagram, by the way.
That is fucking foul as hell.
What, like
I
eating
could
booty at the strip
never.
club? I know. Guys do a lot at the strip club. They'll do anything. They'll try to pay for sex at the strip club, and then chicks will like take them to the back room and then not do it. Then they'll pretty much take their money. Like, mother effer, you shouldn't have even thought that I was about that life. Chicks do that to guys a lot at the strip club too.
I'm a pretty clean person. But if I think there's even a chance that I might do something with somebody, I will make sure that the area is clean before I leave the house. Like there's no way I could ever I could have showered earlier and I'll still just give it a quick, because
there you go.
That is disgusting.
It is totally disgusting. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I mean, nobody wants to smell booty, so let alone eat booty. I
don't know. There's probably somebody out there who
there's
likes
some guys that like to eat booty. I mean, there might be some guys that like the taste though.
And the smell.
Could be a fetish.
It's probably a fetish. And don't get any ideas, people. I'm not going to be showing my ass like that on fucking YouTube.
Oh, wait.
For those fetishes.
You're the one that always talks. You know what? As much as you talk about your butt, you've never showed it on the podcast.
I don't be showing my ass like that.
It's only the feet.
Not even on Instagram, really. Like there is one picture of my butt on my Instagram because I thought it was like a pretty cute picture because it has like the beach and like a can of Pacifico on it. Like I didn't think it was too like sexual, So because I really don't like that kind of attention. Like it's not something that I enjoy. I don't know. It's just not for me. No shade to chicks who are out there putting I probably would have hella followers, but it's just not worth it to me. Like I don't need 10,000 followers if 9,000 of them are like fucking perverts. I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm good.
Look at you. All the value and morals.
I try. As of right now, that's where I stand.
Look at you. Women, you got somebody who you can look up to, kind of right there. Kind of. Notice I say kind of.
I'm not a role model, but yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
Word. I'm with that. Do you see that video? It was like a TikTok of like a taco out of a Big Mac or not out of a Big Mac, but it was like a taco made with like Big Mac like ingredients. What do you think about that? You think that looks good or what? McDonald's is delicious, ain't it?
I hate McDonald's. I think it's disgusting. I don't even think you could get like a Coca-Cola or a Dr. Pepper from McDonald's without it tasting like McDonald's. Which is fucking weird to me. Why does everything you have to taste like
the French fries?
like funky. Like the French fries aren't good to me. Like I remember when I was younger, like a teenager, like I thought that was
Mhm.
so good. I thought their French fries were the best. I had them recently
Top
because,
3 fast food fries. I mean, I
you
think
know, full disclosure, on our road trip, mine and my kids, by the time we got to, you know, civilization that had, you know, food, the fast food place there was McDonald's. And I was like, oh, like my kids are still kids who don't always get to eat that shit. So it's exciting for
Mhm.
them.
Right.
So I ordered a chicken nugget meal and I ate like 4 of the
Chicken
nuggets
nuggets?
and I was like grossed out. I couldn't eat anymore, but I was like nauseous hungry. So like I needed something. I should have just stopped at a fucking gas station and gotten some like trail mix or something, honestly, because that shit was fucking gross. And I ate some of the fries and they just like didn't taste good to me. And I was like, dude, what the fuck is this?
I'm sorry you had such a bad experience at McDonald's. I mean,
I don't like it. I didn't eat it for like 6 years. Like I don't go there. I think it's disgusting poison. Like I'm not a fan. I When I was vegan for like a couple of years, I went
mhm.
on a road trip with my friend Kristen and we literally drove like 40 minutes off the freeway to go to like a Chipotle so that I could eat
Oh, I
something
love
that wasn't
Chipotle. You know
like,
McDonald's owns Chipotle though?
I'm sure they do, but like because Chipotle had like the sofritas, the fucking tofu.
Mhm.
So like I always get like a bowl of rice with beans and the tofu
Mhm.
and like lettuce and guac. And that's like to me like that's more acceptable fast food than McDonald's. Does that make sense? Like
I feel what you're
the
saying.
lesser of the two evils. So
They probably use all the same preservatives and foul
I'm
stuff.
sure they do, but like it tastes better and there's some green on there, so it like makes me
I
feel
feel it.
slightly
They
better.
got rid of the
Like
salad at McDonald's. Ain't that something?
they don't have salads at McDonald's.
No, they so you know how like a lot of restaurants and fast food chains they alter their menu for COVID. I guess like whatever is like the best selling, maybe I don't know, but they got rid of the salad at McDonald's,
That's
and
interesting.
a lot of fast food restaurants did actually. They got rid of their healthy menu. It's kind of crazy, right? They got you wearing masks. They got you inhaling
Yeah, but they're
your
fucking pumping
own.
you with chemicals and bad food. Like
Oh my goodness!
it's so ass
Out to
backwards.
get you, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here,
Anyway,
don't catch COVID, but get some of this diabetes and heart disease. Like, let's get
I
it.
have to pee so bad right now, and it's a live pod. Normally, I would hold it, but I'm about to run to the
You,
bathroom. Everybody,
oh my gosh.
everybody want to party?
Unprofessional.
I got to be. I am trying to be a professional. I'm gonna be quick. I promise.
Unprofessional. I would sing for you, but then you guys would probably cancel me for sure. Malone, want to talk to you about diabetes. You guys remember that? Who watched The Man Show? Who remembers The Man Show? Let me know. Nobody watched The Man Show? Back in the day, Jimmy Kimmel, Adam Carolla? No? Well, that's interesting. So basically they had a show and they like I can't believe they're not like canceled for this now, like in retrospect. Because I remember Jimmy Kimmel would dress up like Karl Malone and like makeup and like, you know, still whatever it is that they used. That was a different time though. You could never get away with that stuff today. Like, and he would play Karl Malone and be like, Karl Malone want to talk to you about diabetes. Do you remember the Man Show, Jimmy?
I
Did you ever
never
watch
watched.
it?
I never watched it.
Oh,
But,
and they'd always end with like girls jumping on trampolines because when they jump, their
it was
boobs.
Adam Carolla, right?
Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel.
Right, Adam Carolla,
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good duo, right?
My dad loved that show. Like, so we watched it all the time.
It was a talk show, right?
Kind of. It was kind of like that, but and then so yeah, because Royce wrote diabetes like that, and it made me think about how Jimmy Kimmel would do that skit as Karl Malone. And it's like now, like 20 years later, that would not fly, because that's blackface. That's like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Like,
right.
Like that shit would just not fly.
Oh man. Yeah, blackface in Tropical Thunder, that would not fly today.
I mean, I thought that
no way, no shot.
Like, I thought it was a good movie, and at that time, I thought it was like, oh my god, he's great, But like now, I look back and I'm like,
that was super racist.
That's pretty, I don't know how I feel about
funny,
that.
Come on, guys.
I mean, you guys know. So I think he did catch some heat about that too, if I remember correctly.
But low key though, or high key, Dave Chappelle in the Chappelle show doing like
white supremacist. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was so funny. And then his head blew up when he found out. Oh wait, all the people head blew up when he took off his hood and
they saw that
he was Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. That was a different time.
The milkman skits were hecka funny too. Remember when he was the milkman and it was like, oh yeah, I can't say that on here. Actually.
Oh, Zumbo, Chappelle show, yeah. Zumbo, I've heard that as well. And so like that's where we get into this like weird territory. Like it's always, I think it's a conversation or a topic, like there's always a debate or divide, like, and it happens in like the Latin community and all these other communities. Like some people are mad about it, and like some people like have a sense of humor about it, and like it's like a weird place to like to be, right? Like it's hard to say, like, because when I first saw that movie, I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought he did a really good job. I think they all did a good job. Like Ben Stiller caught shit for like didn't he play a guy who had like mental like I don't like to say the R word, but yeah, Simple Dan. Yeah. So like, but like I said, it was a completely like different time, and like shit that they got away with then. There's no way, I think, if they did something like that today, like that would not fly.
Gary, we see your comment. Don't worry, we see your comment.
Yeah, Gary, we see you, dude. But I don't know. It was just, and Dave Chappelle, oh my fucking god, like he pushed all the boundaries. Like I loved the racial draft. Like that shit was fucking hilarious to me. Like that was comedic gold. Like and if Dave you think Chappelle's about it, like man. That was politically like wise beyond its time too. You know what I mean? Because like I mean everything he does, he's an incredibly brilliant man. I look up to that guy like 1000%. I don't have a lot of idols or people that I idolize, but Dave Chappelle is definitely one of them.
The way he explains anything,
he's
just
so
makes you want
good.
to listen.
He's so good at it. He like captivates like his audience. Like he commands attention, and he gets it, and he keeps it. And he's so like eloquent and articulate, and like he makes, I think, people of all walks of life like listen to him.
He does.
Like
yeah.
And I fucking respect the shit out of that man.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, anytime he drops anything, I stop what I'm doing and I pay attention and I listen because he always has a great point to prove.
He does.
And
And he's not wrong.
He's obviously really educated on what he's talking about. He never talks from a place of ignorance. And when he does, it's a joke.
Right.
But even his jokes now are, really
like
well put together in ways that aren't even jokey, and it still makes you laugh somehow.
Right. He takes like the most serious fucking shit. It could be quiet as hell. The room is tense. And then he'll say some shit. But then he'll like throw in a fucking like kicker in the pussy real quick. Like, and it's funny, but like it's not off topic. It's not like, oh, I just need to get this in there for a kick. Like it's part of it. Like
Could you imagine if Dave Chappelle was the president?
I would fucking vote for him. 1,000%.
I would vote for Dave Chappelle in a heartbeat.
1,000%.
It'd probably make the world a better place.
1,000. I mean, all the people that do won't fucking run for that position. You know what I mean? Like,
could you imagine every time he came up to the whatever you call it to do a speech? Every time he'd walk up and do a speech, it would be some kind of joke thrown in there. But he would say something amazing and make a great point.
He'd probably come in like a fur, like just like.
If we're gonna have a celebrity as a president, we gotta have Dave Chappelle. I think he is the most qualified for that position as a celebrity president because he makes sense about everything he says.
Intellectually,
he makes great points.
And he's very political.
I'd rather have Dave Chappelle than The Rock is what I'm saying, because The Rock is really talking about running for the president.
Well, I think people have been really trying to get that guy to run.
Yeah.
And I would choose The Rock over Donald Trump, but it's like, come on, are we here now? We're fucking voting for celebrities as presidents now.
I think Arnold is going to run for president too.
Who?
Arnold Schwartz. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Nuh-uh. And then we got Caitlyn Jenner running for governor in California. Like, fucking bro, come on. No.
We're living in those times right now. Literally, watch the next presidential election. There's going to be some celebrities in there.
They got to stop.
Because they know now that celebrities can successfully do it because of all the social media and the influence that they have.
Well, that's exactly what it is. They've gained a following. They have people on there, fucking dumbasses who don't do shit all day but fucking troll at the internet and Instagram. The people who need to have it limited and gassing them up on some shit. And it's like, that doesn't make you qualified to be the fucking governor. It doesn't make you qualified to be the president. Like, cut the shit.
Yeah, Roy said he even got Comedy Central to finally pay him his money for the Chappelle show.
I know. Now I'll actually watch it because I felt bad when I was watching it when it was available. And then I watched his little special thing where he talked about how like he was been asking them to take it down because he's not getting paid for it. And then once he started getting paid for it, then Netflix put it back. And now I don't feel guilty about watching it. So.
Oh, the Chappelle show is on Netflix again?
I think so. Yeah, it's on HBO Max too.
I'm about to go watch it tonight. Yeah. I got HBO Max for like another 2 weeks, so I'm trying to utilize that HBO Max as much as possible and watch as much as I could. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Netflix for listening to him for sure.
Shout out to the powers that be.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle if you're listening and you're down.
Hey, and if you are
to have you on the show,
please just
we would. I'm gonna throw that out there into the universe.
Please.
I'm gonna put that out into the universe, like.
Oh yeah,
Dave Chappelle.
We're gonna be on Joe Rogan too, everybody. Just
Joe Rogan, holler.
Existing in the future and visiting a president, present,
right?
Exist. But possibly Dave Chappelle. Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
We're coming for the big leagues.
Big leagues, here we come.
I'm even down to get roasted by Andrew Schultz. That's fine.
I'm down with Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, everybody, It's been such a fun night, such a fun time, and we appreciate everybody coming through Monday Night Live, and we appreciate everybody who enjoys the topics and are here for the podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Not just the foot cam. So shout out to you all.
I appreciate you.
I think it's that time of the night, though, y'all. We appreciate you all. Thank you for listening to episode 66. And
Already.
we out. I think.